Hello and welcome to Coffee Conversations and Book Talks with Sandy. Guys, I had to move one from one screen to another, but I am super excited to have you all with me on this afternoon. Book Talks with Sandy, what is it? It is our platform for authors, anthology book projects, and most of all, I say that it is for you. Why do I say that? Because you just might be looking for a good book to read. I am super excited to have our today's guest. So those of you that know that we're on, I need you to go ahead and tag at least 5 women, men, friends, people that you know, because today's guest is on her author tour because she's about to release the much anticipated book called From the Pit to the Palace. And we're talking about the phenomenal Dr. Gail James. And yes, you don't want to miss my conversation with this phenomenal author. Not only is she an author, but she is also a speaker, a therapist. Listen, I believe that she is a change maker in the earth. So I want you to go ahead while I put this on. Y'all are not used to seeing me on this quite early. So I want to give you an opportunity to go ahead and share this out. And in the meantime, we will be bringing on our today's guest. She's on tour. We were able to get an opportunity to sit down and talk with her briefly before this book is released on tomorrow. Yes, Dr. Gail James is here with us at Book Talks with Sandy. So listen, stay tuned. We'll be right back. And without further ado, we'll be back with our today's guest this evening with Dr. Gail James. Yes, and hello, there she is. Hello, Dr. James.
Hi, how are you? How are you? How you doing, Sandy? It's great to be with you again.
Oh, yes, indeed. Listen, kind of nursing this upper sinus thing, but I am super excited. Thank you so much. Listen, you all. We're excited. The buzz is out. Dr. Gail James has this book out, and I've seen the previews. And listen, as you say, you are unstoppable right now. Yes, indeed. So, how are you feeling?
I am doing okay. I'm doing okay. I can't wait for tomorrow, but
I
I'm
know.
doing okay.
I know. Well, we know that, listen, you've been doing a lot of tours and everything. So we want to really just home in on this book, much anticipated, a book that I know that you are just going to bless us for sure with all of the knowledge of all of the tools that we're going to need and others will need. You're sharing. This is somewhat of a memoir as well as a self-help book. And so as you're saying is that tomorrow is, yes, the anticipated day for the book release.
Yes. Launch day is here.
Yes, indeed. I want to share with the audience, those of you all, thank you. Welcome for joining us on our YouTube channel as well as our Spotify channel. We have our guest today who is on a book tour. Her book will be released on tomorrow. The book is called From the Pit to the Palace, and it has a subtitle as well, and it is My Rise from Pain to Purpose. And Dr. James, I just want to share with our audience a little bit about who you are. This book here, as we have shared a little bit about who you are. You're a licensed clinical Christian therapist, motivational speaker. You own a counseling and consulting service where you primarily handle those in need of trauma, who need help in those areas: trauma, mental health, substance abuse, counseling, in addition to family therapy. Dr. James is also the founder Sanctuary of Change, a nonprofit organization that works to bring solutions to survivors of childhood sexual abuse and domestic violence. In addition to this, she is the CEO of the extraordinary, services for extraordinary people agency. I want to repeat that again. She is the CEO of Extraordinary Services with an X for Extraordinary People Agency. Dr. James earned her bachelor's degree in psychology from the Palm Beach State College in 2002. She has continued her education and earned her master's degree in biblical studies in 2014 and her PhD in Christian counseling and in 2015 from St. Thomas Christian University. Well, listen, the reviews are phenomenal and you're taking out time. Thank you for your time today. We want to know, yes, the book is anticipating. We're anticipating on this book. It is a new book. Your goal is to aim the light of path of resilience, entwining your journey with empowering solutions. Dr. James is telling us, my story becomes a guiding light for those who have endured childhood abuse through sharing experiences and observations. She offers a solace and a roadmap to renewed strength and unbreakable spirit. Oh my goodness, this is phenomenal. And I believe that we just hit the central theme of the book, but I do want to ask you, what is that central theme of the book? The book that is called From the Pit to the Palace, My Rise from the Pain to Purpose.
The central theme of the book is the fact that no matter what the circumstances and obstacles that I was presented with, which is a lot of traumatic events with the childhood sexual abuse, the domestic violence, the suicide attempts, my daughter being born disabled, me having a lot of health issues, in spite of being faced with all those adversities, I was still able to rise above it and make it out for my good. Because sometimes you get stuck in the trauma and you just you relive it, and you don't want to go any further. You stay stuck and stagnant in ruminating on that thing. But what I thought was best for me is I can't stay here. I cannot stay here. This is not good for me. So what I did was channel my pain into purpose. And that's the theme of the book. So the theme of the book is no matter what you're going through, you can survive this.
Yeah. Oh, I love it that you can survive. You're actually, and it's like declaring and decreeing, I will survive this. Powerful, powerful. And that's just setting the path for the readers. As I share our readers, we want them to definitely put this. I always tell them, Dr. James, if there's any book that you need to have in your toolbox, this will definitely be one of them. Can you provide us with some insights as to the significance of that title, the title From the Pit to the Palace, and its relation to your personal story?
I chose From the Pit to the Palace because I felt much like Joseph. I was in the pit.
Yeah.
I told the story of my childhood sexual abuse to my mom. I was 10. My brother was 21. He admitted, but I didn't get the response that I wanted. My mom in turn blamed me, even though he admitted, yes, I did it and I was wrong. And so what happened was I'm child number 11 out of 12 children for my mom. So I
Yeah.
ended up being public enemy number one. So nobody speaks to me to this day. None of my 11 siblings on my mother's side speaks to me. So I chose that title because I felt like I was in the pit because everybody abandoned me. They rejected me. You're
Yeah.
not going to be anything. And so now where I am, everything the enemy took to break me, that was meant to break me, built me. The suicidal attempts and the depression and the anxiety and the trauma caused me to be a therapist. So now I have my own mental health agencies. My daughter being born 2 weeks before my high school graduation, only 2 pounds. I was only 6 months pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Still in a wheelchair, still in diapers, diagnosed with cerebral palsy,
Yeah.
taught me how to have compassion and empathy for people that can't take care of themselves. So now
Yeah.
I have home health care agencies. So it's like everything that was meant to break me, I turn it around. Not me by myself, but with God.
Right.
God gave me the strength. By God's strength and God's might, I was able to turn it around for my good and make it into something purposeful. So I turned my pain into purpose.
And that's powerful because most people, and you as a therapist, a clinician, that you would find that people, they just find themselves stuck. They can't get past that experience. And God has gifted you just in this conversation and hearing that, if you've gone through that, but now you now have the capacity and the ability to help others to come and rise above, as you're saying, is that you've taken a my rise from pain to purpose. Dr. James, this is phenomenal. You all that are tuning in, yes, we're on just a tad bit early, and we were able to get this amazing woman of God who has released, God has given her a book and she's birthing it out, called From the Pit to the Palace. And when you hear that, this is true. We in the body of Christ, we recognize immediately, we think of Joseph. And here we have this woman of God. The book, Dr. Gail James is with me tonight. And as she is saying, is that she's taken her pain, and she has been able to rise from the pain, rise from the experiences, but rise from the pain to her purpose of bringing others out of their pain. And we look and we see that, and some of the things that you would like for us to know, when as we get prepared for what's about to happen on tomorrow, we want to have this book in our hand.
Mhm.
Certainly I'm going to bring you back because I would love more time for us to really unpack. But the goal is tonight in this conversation, we would need you all to be ready about what's about to happen on tomorrow. So could you go ahead and share with us, what can we expect? You're releasing this book, and we're believing God, yes, a number one bestseller for sure, international on top of that.
Yes, yes, ma'am. We're believing God for that. Well, tomorrow is the book launch, and I want everybody to go ahead and buy the Kindle version tomorrow. Buy it on Amazon, click open so you can start reading the book. And I also have a book launch party, a virtual book launch party at 8 o'clock tomorrow evening. That's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Um, the information is on my Facebook at Dr. Gail James. You can go there and you can register for the virtual book launch. We're giving away prizes. It's
Oh,
going to
wow.
be an amazing time. We're playing games. And so I'm just excited because my whole goal about writing this book was trying to make sure that I am the the me that I needed when I was going through. So
Oh, wow.
I didn't have that person. So I
Yeah.
want to be that for others that are
Yeah.
going through. You don't have to stay silent. You don't have to be miserable and be hurting on the inside and putting up a good front. There's a safe place, and I want to be that safe place for people because
That,
it needs
yeah.
to be told. Generational curses need to be broken, and
Yes.
no more family secrets.
That is so good. And you're stepping out, even your transparency. I love how you just share with the fact that family members, you're in a space that we want our family. We want to be needed, and to be loved by our loved ones, or sisters or brothers or siblings. And yet you're in this journey, but you're doing it along with God being your leader, and God, the Holy Spirit, leading you and guiding you. Well, we are, those of you that are tuning in, as I said, we are with Dr. Gail James, her new book that is about to be released. We will be putting out the link. Will the link go out tomorrow, or we can just send them to Amazon?
We could send them to Amazon, but I think also my publisher is putting out the link.
She's going to put out the link. Awesome, awesome. Well, here is. I want our broadcast to know just a little bit, as you were saying, is that the moments in our life that are so real, as you mentioned here earlier, is that from being molested or sexually abused as a child and by your sibling. There's so many stories like that. And here you stand in strength, but that had to come, I'm sure, with perseverance, so many tears of crying, and pulling yourself up to the point that you had to look in that mirror. Tell us about that moment.
It was difficult, but I focused on my faith. I focused on my faith.
Yeah.
I know without a shadow of a doubt that I would not have been able to do this by my strength alone. But I recognize that though everyone was against me, I had that intimate relationship with God. And so I was like, God, why you chose me to be the generational curse breaker? Because that was one brother that I told him, but it happened from three brothers. The only difference is my
Yeah.
mom passed because of the way my mom responded to me telling her about the first one. I
Yeah.
didn't tell her about the other two. So she died without the other two getting prosecuted. The one got prosecuted, the other two didn't get prosecuted. And so I feel like if we could just, the response was the biggest thing for me. I think if she
Hmm.
gave me a different response, I'd have turned out different. But nevertheless, the response that she gave made me understand you have to get up. You have to rise. God has
Yeah.
chosen you. I didn't want to be chosen, but I was chosen. And so
Yeah.
I understood that I had to get up and I started my healing journey. I started going to counseling. I stopped, I
Yeah.
stopped.
Yeah.
And then eventually God got me to the place where he started explaining to me because I kept trying to buy my mom's love. And I think my biggest thing
Hmm.
was I wanted her to say, I love you. I wanted her to say, I'm proud of you. And
Yeah.
I don't care how much money I gave her, it wouldn't work. How much cars I bought her, it wouldn't work. So eventually I understood. I said, God, what is this? And he
Yeah.
said, your mom has 12 children by 7 different men. He said, doesn't that ring true to you? What happened when you was molested? I said, oh, promiscuity. I was promiscuous. He said, well, what you think happened to her? She just didn't have the voice. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, really? So he told me she's parenting from a place of pain.
Oh my
And so,
goodness. Yeah.
yes. And
Yeah.
so I was like, well, why she treat me like the black sheep? And he took me back to when would go to Dominica to visit my grandma. And she would line all 12 of us up to kiss my grandma. And my grandma would push all of us away till she got to this one specific granddaughter, kiss her, and then come
Uh-huh.
back around to us. And he said, you see that? He said, you asking why you're the black sheep. Your mom was the black sheep. The same thing your grandma doing to y'all right now, your mom was the black sheep. So the black sheepism continued. So he let me know
Yeah.
I was chosen to be the generational curse breaker,
That's
and that,
right.
and that comes with a
Yes.
price.
As you were talking, I was like, there had to be someone to break that. And because they didn't have the tools, similar story. Again, I gotta have you back. And I know
Mhm.
you'd hurry, but listen, oh my goodness, there's so many women, and you're probably finding that there are women. I'm in my 60s, Dr. Gail, and well, I'm 62. I'm not ashamed to tell it, but there were things that happened in women in my generation that the ones who raised us, the ones who are mother, they how can I put this? They didn't have the tools.
Yeah, they didn't.
And how could they love if they didn't really know what love was or what it looked like?
Ooh, that's
How
a sermon.
could,
That's a sermon.
and they didn't know what it looked like. So their perception was I cook, I clean, I take care of you, I have a household, have a roof over your head, put some clothes on your body. But then you try to tell them these things happened to me and they don't believe you. Don't
The,
believe you.
the guilt, the shame, the level of abandonment and rejection. And
Yes.
when I speak to my clients, I tell them I gotta liberate you from this guilt
Yep.
because the guilt is literally killing you on the inside.
Yeah.
And you will stay stuck and stagnant if I can't liberate you from the guilt. The guilt,
That's
the
right.
shame, it's sad. But once I started telling my story, it was mind blowing how
Yeah.
many women grew up with me. We grew up together. We was close
Yeah.
friends. Rode the bus together, walked together, and
Yeah.
they've been through the same thing by a father, by a brother, by a
Brother,
family member. I'm
cousin.
like,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yes,
And that happens when you're in that conversation. And like you said, you find yourself, you're in a safe space. Then she finds out, you probably like me, oh man, I'm not alone. Girl, that happened to you too.
mhm,
Yeah, so I know. You all, I am with the phenomenal. Yes, Dr. Gail James. We were able to get her in just for some moments. And we are bringing her back. She's gonna come back. She's got some
yes,
exciting things that are happening tomorrow, and that is the book, the one that you all have been anticipating on seeing and hearing and purchasing. We want you to be ready tomorrow. We're going to replay this again tonight as well as tomorrow. But you all, the link will go out. Those of you that follow me, we will have it on my page. So I want all of you all that are a part of the Coffee Conversation platform, community, the whole nine. We are going to get our copies of this book. And we want you to be just changed. I mean, I believe that there's so much. We can't tell it all in this first interview.
yes.
And so Dr. James is releasing her book tomorrow. And it is From the Pit to the Palace, My Rise from Pain to Purpose. And she's very candid, you all. In this book, she talks about, as she mentioned, the being sexually abused as a child, and then some other areas that she wants us to know. What you can gain by reading this book. You will have the powerful tools that are going to help you to navigate through life. And that's what she's able to tell you. Why? Because that's what she's done. She has been able to navigate and build wisdom and have the courage to be able to have clients that are experiencing trauma from their childhood and still are experiencing not knowing how to respond when those triggers come up. And that's another conversation, I'm sure.
Yes, them
When you
triggers,
have those triggers.
them
Yeah.
triggers.
That's another conversation. Well, Dr. James, let's see here. I'm looking through here. I've got lots of information here. I want to you all definitely I want you all to really be ready for this book here on tomorrow. One of the things that we would like to share is a couple of key points. If you have some moments here, we got a little bit of time. Could you share some of the key point lessons and solutions that you do offer survivors of childhood abuse in the book? A few of them, and I'll identify it, and then we can back that up. Identifying the trauma. What does that mean?
Identifying the trauma is because a lot of us, when we've been traumatized, like childhood sexual abuse, your innocence is taken. You don't really know what's going on. You're
Yeah,
young, and
yeah,
so when you are able to identify the trauma, you're able to say out your mouth. Because some of us, we know if we just can't speak it, but when you speak it, then you can start healing. So you're able to say, you know what, that was not right. That's identifying the trauma. That
yeah,
I was sexually molested. Yes, I was
yeah,
abused. This
hmm,
that and call it what it is. Identify it. Because here's the
yeah.
thing: if you don't identify it, you will not be able to acknowledge it. You will not be able to heal from it. You will not be. So you got to identify it.
Awesome. Yes. Acknowledging your feelings. Let's talk about that. There's times that individuals they find themselves, they're sad, they're depressed. So let's talk about that.
Identifying your feelings is very important because if you can't identify the feeling, you can't get over it. You need to identify, I'm sad, i'm feeling I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling abandoned, I'm angry, I'm feeling rejected. Whatever that feeling is, identify it so that once you identify it, then you will know how to move forward to be able to then look back and say, okay, you know what, I'm sad, but I don't have to stay here. I can work on this and get better.
Yes, yes. And you all, we're not going to give all of these points away because the whole idea, we want you to have the book. And what Dr. Gail does, she gives you the takeaways. It is intentional that she has these steps and these lessons in here because the ultimate goal is that we want you to be healed from any of the traumas, experiences. If any of this resonates with you, Yes, that is saying you need to get the book. I am with Dr. Gail James, who is the author of the upcoming soon to be released book on tomorrow. The book is called From the Pit to the Palace. And Dr. James is sharing with us just some snippets of what you can expect when you purchase the Kindle version on tomorrow. All of the information, we're going to have this out, and we're going to have it on our page, you all, and then I will be sharing it out to the communities. But this book it is to guide the readers through her journey, uncovering how courage propels individuals from pain to purpose. Dr. James is in Jacksonville, Florida. Are you in Florida now, or?
No, I'm all the way in Texas. Like you said, I'm on tour, but I'll be back. I'll be back on Saturday.
Okay. All right. You're on tour. Well, listen, I always love to step back. I would, I gotta have you back. You know,
I would love to come back.
I want that round table kind of conversation.
Yes, let's do that.
Yes, indeed, we are. But you all, yes, Janine is here. Coach Janine, she's saying hello. Yes, she's saying yes. Janine is coming in through. Thank you so much, Coach Jean, for coming through and supporting Dr. Gail. So we want you all to definitely get this book, you all, and it is called From the Pit to the Palace. And this book, she has dedicated this book to her mother, and we just had that discussion. This is someone walking in true forgiveness. Not only does she talk about one who didn't hear her, but this is her mother. She dedicated the book to Annie Mayfuse, her father, her husband, her daughter, and her 3 sons. That is so amazing. And is that part of the forgiving journey? Because you talk about that. We have to forgive.
Yeah. I forgive my mom. My mom passed away in 2007, but before she died, I took care of her. I flew to the Virgin Islands every week,
Uh-huh.
round trip to take care of her. I bought her diapers by the cases, everything I did because when God gave me the revelation of where she was parenting from a place of pain, I understood that I had to forgive her for an apology I'll never get.
I
And
got
that's
it.
profound because people are looking for an apology. But I forgave her for an apology I
Yeah.
never got because I understood that she did the best with the cards she was dealt with. And
Yeah.
so some of us don't know. Some parents, we don't know any better. There's no
Yeah.
manual. So she didn't have a voice in her
Yeah.
childhood. And so she didn't think I should have a voice. She didn't disrupt her family. So
Right.
the family looks at me as, like they said, one of my sisters told me, I understand why mommy's mad because you told the family secret. And I'm like, no, it's actually not a secret.
Not a secret.
I'm over here dying on the inside. It's not a secret.
No.
But
And,
I
and it
understood.
speaks like so many women.
Hmm.
That's the courage. And because you're a woman of faith, you're a woman of God, you trusted God. And Joseph shared his dream. Just like Joseph shared his dream, he shared with an innocent heart, innocent mind, shared what God had told him, what the Spirit of the Lord had said. And his brothers got jealous and
Yeah.
wanted to take him out. But God spared his life, and God spared you for us. And I say for us because I can raise my hand. I'm one of those that would be sitting in the audience that you're talking to. But here we have this conversation now, and God has kept us. He has done that. Dr. James, it is always my custom to yield back and allow our authors to have the last words. We're going to wrap it up. I don't want you out there in that element any longer, but we're going to, I'll get with the publisher, and I want to have that intimate. I'll have the book. We're going to talk. We're going to cry. And I'm already crying
Yeah.
already. I'm already crying. I'm so happy for you, and I'm so thankful to
You.
be
Thank you.
one that you would find value in what I do here. And So you all, we're going to just hear from the heart of this great woman of God, Dr. Gail James, the book that is about to be released. And it is always our custom here on Book Talks with Sandy to yield back and allow our authors, visionaries, solo book projects, entrepreneurs, and those that come on to showcase the book, to share their heart. And so I may have missed the question, but there is something specific that she wants to say to you, the audience, and then we'll be right back. So if you will, go ahead and just take a moment and share your heart with us.
I would like to say this, that as long as you're still breathing, there is hope. Long as you still have breath in your body, there is hope. God created you with destiny and purpose in your womb. And the devil in hell can't take it away from you. I don't care what the naysayers say. I don't care what the Debbie Downers say. Keep striving, keep moving. If the when life throws curveballs at you, bob, weave, and keep moving. Because I promise you, if you keep your faith anchored in God, it is no way that you will miss your purpose and your destiny. His perfect will for your life will be manifested if you just anchor your faith in him. Go buy the book From the Pit to the Palace on tomorrow as it drops on Amazon. And I thank you so much to Miss Sandy for having me again. And I'd love to come back.
Okay. I had to click on these things, but thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, we will. We will be having the information out, the book, and you all look for the link. I'll be having that. We'll share it out wherever she's posting and her team. We are going to get it. And because it is my goal, I would love for you all to have this book in your hand. And then we will look for you to come back. Dr. Gail James. Yes, indeed. She's an author, speaker, global speaker, philanthropist. I mean, she's just one that has a heart for women and a heart for people. And we're so thankful. We didn't talk about your mission, the Sanctuary of Change. That is your mission, to aid abuse victims, and how it ties with your work as a clinicianist, a clinical Christian therapist. Do you want to take a moment and just
Oh, yeah.
talk about that briefly?
Sanctuary of Change is a nonprofit agency that provides shelter for people, for individuals that are escaping abusive relationship. Well,
Mhm.
as we know, there is a 48-hour gap before you can get into a shelter. So we provide you housing for that 48 hours while they're trying to get you to shelter, so you can immediately exit that abusive relationship. We also provide free counseling. We also provide assistance with your legal process, like getting the restraining order and all of that stuff. So that is what we do. And we put on a
Oh, that's
conference
good.
every year in February to give back to the community, where we do makeovers on the women and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So that is what Sanctuary of Change is, sold out to domestic violence and sexual abuse.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm just sharing my screen, y'all. There she is, Dr. Gail James. The book will be available on Amazon. Look for the link. We're going to be out there cheering her on, supporting her, loving on her. And yes, we want that book, the ebook version, to be in your hand, as well as find out where the launch party is there. You're going to be able to purchase the book pre-sale. It'll be on pre-sale. So yeah, not only the ebook, but we want to put that hard copy in your hand. As I always tell you, Book Talks with Sandy, it is a place for you. Why? Because you just might be looking for a good book to read, and this is certainly going to be one. Dr. Gail, thank you so much. It is an honor. Thank you for joining, coming on tonight, giving me the opportunity to interview you. Much success on tomorrow. We know that it is going to be amazing, and we're going to be in the background cheering you on for sure.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, beautiful.
All
Thank
right,
you
you have
so
a good
much.
one. Thank you, Miss Sandy. Talk to you soon.
Yes, ma'am. All
Okay.
right. Bye bye. So, wow, you all, listen. Yes, you want to make sure so much about Dr. James' book that she will be releasing on tomorrow. The title alone from the Pit to the Palace, and My Rise from Pain to Purpose. So be sure, guys, to look out. We're going to replay her conversation with Book Talks later on. I do have another interview in another hour that is going to be with Dr. Tanisha Reeder and another group of ladies. These are going to be a group of women that her book is called Manifesting Her. These are courageous women that are going to be sharing their story of healing, self-discovery, and success. But most of all, I want you all, listen, put it in your, y'all know what I tell you to do. Put it on a Post-it note, put it on your head, put it on your phone, put it on the refrigerator, because tomorrow we want, yes, this book is definitely going to hit the international bestsellers list. Dr. Gail James, the author of From the Pit to the Palace, My Rise from Pain to Purpose. Listen, I am Sandy Sanders. It is always my custom, and you guys know that I love you. It's my custom that we encourage one another, encourage each other through the word of the Lord. And as you say, iron sharpens iron. And so we walk by faith and not by sight. Listen, have a blessed evening. Take care. I'll see you guys a little bit later. Okay. We'll be back with Dr. Reeder at 7:30. All right. Listen, take care. All right. You guys know that I love you. All right. Bye-bye.